What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I really want to have this conversation about Dr. Boyce Watkins. And as we know, Dr. Boyce Watkins is an intellectual. I believe he has a PhD from Ohio State. Also, former professor, I believe, even visiting professor at the University of Munich in Germany, very high esteemed university in Europe. Also, Syracuse University. So this is not an idiot. Despite his sometimes shaming tactics and talking points, he is a very intelligent man. We will give him that as far as an academic perspective is concerned, from that perspective. However, Boyce Watkins finds himself deleted and booted off of Instagram and Facebook from what he says is being a little bit too black. And I find that very interesting. You heard, or we'll basically hear here in this clip, we're going to hear what his reasoning is for that, and then we're going to come back.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. Today, I got some crazy news. I was really shocked by this. I have been banned on Instagram and Facebook. Just out of the blue, Instagram and Facebook decided to cut my accounts. I have over about 500,000 people on Instagram and several million on Facebook, and they chopped off our accounts today. And I think it had to do with this. I think this is the culprit. Yesterday, I was reading some Dr. Anderson stuff from Powernomics, and also I read from his book Black Labor, White Wealth. We were doing our Powernomics training that we do every week for free in the Black Business School, and literally there's a section that I read where Dr. Anderson explained how the immigration policies have harmed black people. And I don't know if that was the exact trigger, but I believe it was the comments about immigration that got me banned. And so literally there's nothing you could do about it. It happens, that's life. We're working on it. I'd call in lawyers. If anybody knows any good lawyers, if you happen to be a good lawyer and you want to help us fight on this case, just email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. So I'm going to give you some ways we can stay connected. I'm going to tell you like this. When I first started doing what I was doing, what I do now, I knew that I was going to war. I knew that America really isn't ready for black men who tell the truth the way I tell the truth. And also, I'm pretty smart, so I know a lot about what's going on. I've been very consistent about things. So I kind of expected this to happen. This isn't the first time that we've been attacked by the social media gods. They literally, that's what they do. It's their platforms. That's how they behave. So, and I don't have a lot of time to address it right now. I'm going to come back and address it in more detail, but I wanted to let you guys know what's going on in case you were following me on Instagram. I didn't block you or anything like that. But there's ways we can stay connected. Number one, with this podcast, we are on Spotify also. So if you go to Spotify and look up Boyce Watkins, you'll find my podcast on Spotify.
So let me say this. Boyce Watkins is now trying to get his page back. Obviously, Dr. Boyce Watkins makes, I would assume, a lot of money off of Instagram, a lot of money off of Facebook. And he said something that was interesting. If you're any lawyers and you want to help us, email me. If you're a lawyer and you want to help us, what does that mean? What does that indicate? That means that you're not willing to pay somebody. That's what that means. Okay? Boyce Watkins has a lot of money. But Boyce Watkins is apathetic when it comes to, from what I understand, paying blacks. And see, that is the issue at hand. For me, I don't do a whole lot of commentary towards white people or white racism or fighting the system that way. I don't know why I believe they're fighting the system and going to war on the internet with white people. It doesn't make sense. Nobody cares about your ideas because they can just shut you down, right? When I come on to this platform and I have a black audience, I'm talking to the blacks. We know what happened to us. We know we were discriminated against. That's something that we know about. Okay? But we need to be talking to our people because we're the only people who can change those things. All right? And Boyce Watkins is trying to be a internet activist who, and I'm pretty sure, whatever neighborhood he lives in, ain't too many blacks there. He's been educated, just like most of us, in almost all white institutions. So what kind of activism are you talking about, bro? You're not fighting anything. You're running your mouth. If you really want to change what is going on with the black world, it takes getting out there and being active. You know, guys, I have this shows, but most of you don't know the things that I'm trying to do every day in Africa, like all the time. I'm tied up all the time, meeting with the brothers and sisters, trying to do things, trying to set things up for the brothers and sisters in the diaspora. You know, I spend a lot of time hosting people. You know, people come and see me here. I'm helping the brothers and sisters out behind the scenes, trying to do things that elevate our people, things that are tangible. Nobody cares about your opinions. I mean, if they can shut you down, they can shut you down. You're not going to war with anybody because those things don't influence anything. But if you really want to be out there with the blacks, it's called doing the work, getting out there, being active, making things transparent, not using people, which is what Boyce has been clearly accused of from black women in particular, Michi X and Paris Milan and other sisters. Okay? So you trying to, you know, I guess the black business school is a free class. Maybe if you've already paid the $400 or $500, but for the people you're making money off of, bro, you're not doing anything that you say is going to war with somebody. And then now you're looking for a lawyer to go ahead and spend their time. You're not going to pay them. That is what we need to be fighting against. Attitudes like that, being cheap with your own people, okay? Not wanting to pay your own people. Always looking for help or handouts. This is language that you always find from these black activists that they want to get paid. But when it's time to pay others, I'm looking at you, Dr. Umar Johnson. You want donations. You want support. Donate your time. But when it's Dr. Umar's time to go onto the podcast, it went up from $1,000 a podcast to $3,000. Dr. Umar wants 50% of his money up front. It ain't negotiable. Okay? It ain't negotiable. Dr. Umar Johnson was on his way to Uganda in July. At least we thought. And I would definitely have loved for him to come to our podcast. For sure. What was the price? I was told $3,000 US. And you know, Dr. Umar has a history of maybe not showing up, from what I've been told, or paying deposits and not fulfilling what he needs to do. So my stipulation was, Negro, you're gonna have to, if I were to talk to him, which I didn't, and it's true, but I heard through the grapevine, that's what he charges right now. Maybe $5,000 now, I'm not sure. But if he comes, you gotta pay him, which I ain't got no problem doing. But for everybody else that works with him, they gotta suffer. If you wanna fight against anything, fight against people who feel like that. That is what is hurting the black world. Not about talking about immigration and all of these other things that you cannot control. If the United States wants to let people in its borders tomorrow, we don't run the country, but we can always conduct ourselves in a manner in which we know how to treat each other. We can always prefer our people over each other, over others. We can always have rules of engagement with how we interact. That is something that these guys who are your so-called black influencers never talk about, because their systems only favor them. You know, when it's time for them to get paid, then it's fine. But when it's time for you, you need to help them. It's a good cause. Dr. Boyce Watkins wants all his money when you deal with him. Now he wants your help. You think he don't have a lawyer he knows he can pay? He doesn't want to pay. He wants you to do it for free, so then he can say, if you do a good job, I'll recommend you. That's the whole trip, which is buffoonish in my book. So we spend our time trying to fight the white man, and we need to fight that entitled, dusty, ridiculous mindset that keeps us behind because we don't want to appreciate one another. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. What you do for all you, turn the bell? We're out.